An Indian warship just completed warfare drills with Greek frigates and a submarine in the Aegean Sea. Turkey's backyard. 6 days of scenarios Ankara knows are designed for them. This is payback. When Turkish President Erdogan armed Pakistan with drones and publicly condemned India during the May crisis, Prime Minister Modi didn't protest. He calculated, if Turkey arms India's rival, India will arm Turkey's. The response? BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles now being negotiated for Greek islands. Range 290 to 900 kilometers from Lesbos or Piraeus that reaches every critical Turkish naval base in the Aegean. Indian Su-30 MKY already train over Greek airspace in INIOCHOS exercises, IL-78 tankers, C-17 transports. This isn't symbolic cooperation, this is operational integration. And the economic stranglehold. India's building the IMEC corridor, connecting Mumbai to Rotterdam through Greece and Cyprus. Turkey? Completely bypassed. Turkish media is panicking because the alliance Ankara feared most isn't forming, it's already operational. Greece and India share something most allies don't, the same adversary threatening their territorial integrity. And the weapons deals they're negotiating could fundamentally shift the balance of power in the Eastern Mediterranean. But first, understand the wound that never healed. Turkey has occupied northern Cyprus since 1974. 37% of Greek Cypriot territory, seized, divided, militarized for 51 years. Families separated, properties confiscated, a nation cut in half. Kashmir. The same playbook, different geography. Turkey doesn't just support Pakistan diplomatically, it arms them. Bayraktar TB2 drones, Turkish defense systems deployed against Indian forces. Turkish military cooperation strengthening Pakistan in every confrontation with New Delhi. Two nations, two territorial conflicts, one common adversary using the exact same strategy. Occupy, militarize, never compromise. Greece understood India's pain. India understood Greece's rage, and that understanding transformed into something Ankara never anticipated. In June 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's motorcade arrived at the presidential palace in Nicosia, Cyprus, the first visit by an Indian prime minister in over 23 years. Behind closed doors, defense ministers discussed weapon systems that make Turkish intelligence officers nervous. For Cyprus, Nagastra loitering munitions, Sky Striker precision drones, systems proven in combat against armored targets, the kind that could change the calculus against Turkish forces occupying the northern third of the island. For Greece, BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, Mach 2.8, 300 to 900 kilometer range, ship killer precision no Turkish vessel can outrun, and something even more threatening. India's long-range land attack cruise missile, range exceeding 1,000 kilometers, capable of striking deep inside Turkish territory from Greek islands. These aren't finalized contracts yet. These are active negotiations moving from if to when. But Turkish defense analysts are already running simulations, and every scenario ends with Turkish naval superiority neutralized. The message is surgical. You arm Pakistan? We're acquiring systems you can't match, but hardware is only part of the transformation. In March, Andravida Air Base in Greece hosted INIOCHOS exercise. Indian Air Force Su-30 fighters taxied onto Greek runways alongside IL-78 refueling tankers and C-17 transports. Indian pilots flying combat missions with Greek, French, Israeli, American, and Cypriot air forces. This wasn't symbolic. This was operational integration, coordinating strike packages, sharing tactical data in real time, learning each other's combat doctrines. In September, INS Trikand conducted the first bilateral naval exercise with Greece in the Aegean. Intelligence sharing networks are now operational, tracking Turkish military movements across 3 theaters: Mediterranean, Middle East, South Asia. When Turkish forces reposition in Syria, Greece knows within hours. When Turkish ships deploy to the Aegean, Indian satellites are watching. But India isn't just selling weapons, they're offering to build them together. Joint defense production discussions are underway. Indian defense companies showcased advanced systems at DEFIA in Athens, not just for export, but for co-production on Greek and Cypriot soil. Turkey now faces something unprecedented, a potential permanent Indian military-industrial presence on its doorstep. Not temporary deployments, not arms deals that expire. Embedded infrastructure that could sustain Greek and Cypriot military operations indefinitely. By the way, only 12% of you watching have subscribed. If you appreciate deep dive geopolitical analyses, hit like and subscribe. It helps us make more videos like this. Weapons alone don't reshape the balance of power. What truly terrifies Ankara isn't just the missiles, it's the economic infrastructure being built that deliberately bypasses Turkey entirely. In September 2023, leaders from India, the United States, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and the EU launched the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor at the G20 Summit in New Delhi, IMEC. A multimodal transport network connecting India to Europe, railways, shipping lanes, fiber optic cables, hydrogen pipelines, from Mumbai to Athens without a single Turkish port, without asking Ankara's permission. Turkey has always positioned itself as the indispensable bridge between Asia and Europe. IMEC changes that calculation permanently. President Erdogan declared before the UN that any Eastern Mediterranean project excluding Turkey is doomed to fail. He promoted Turkey's alternative, the development road through Iraq. But by 2025, IMEC isn't a proposal anymore. It's infrastructure under construction, and Greece and Cyprus are becoming India's gateway to Europe. Prime Minister Modi's visit to Nicosia in June wasn't a courtesy call, it was a strategic declaration. Modi and President Christodoulides signed agreements transforming Cyprus into a critical IMEC node. Cyprus, with 12.7 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in the Kronos, Zeus, Aphrodite, and Glaucus fields, becomes an energy hub linking Eastern Mediterranean gas to European markets. Indian investment, Indian technology, Indian strategic backing. Greece isn't waiting. Greece is building now. Piraeus and Thessaloniki ports are being modernized as transshipment hubs. Greek officials are negotiating to quadruple bilateral trade from $2 billion to $8 billion by 2030. India, Greece, and Cyprus launched the Business and Investment Council early in the year, coordinating investments across renewable energy, digital infrastructure, and maritime logistics. This isn't symbolic diplomacy. This is institutional architecture built to outlast governments. Turkey watches with growing alarm because IMEC bypasses Turkey strategically. Every cargo shipment through Piraeus instead of Istanbul is revenue Ankara loses. Every energy deal Cyprus signs is leverage Turkey doesn't control. And there's something else. India's Unified Payment Interface, UPI, is being introduced in Greece, creating financial connectivity operating independently of Turkish oversight. Greek Prime Minister Mitsotakis called Modi in September, expressing support for the India-EU Free Trade Agreement. Greece is lobbying Brussels to accelerate trade integration, knowing a finalized FTA would cement IMEC's viability and marginalize Turkey's role as trade intermediary. Turkey can oppose IMEC diplomatically, but Turkey cannot stop the concrete being poured, the cables being laid, the agreements being signed. By 2025, IMEC is no longer if, it's how fast. The corridor Turkey cannot stop is already being built, and Greece and Cyprus are the gates through which India enters Europe without asking Ankara's permission. As IMEC quietly reshapes trade routes, I'm tilting my portfolio to match. One ETF I've been following is up about 46% since January. I'll share which one and why in a moment. I use Freedom 24 because the fees are competitive, the platform is straightforward, and I can get support in my own language when I need it. And here's the simple reason I invest at all. Uninvested cash loses purchasing power to inflation. Every year it sits idle, it buys a little less. So I put money to work deliberately and diversify with ETFs. Think of an ETF like IMEC for your portfolio. One corridor carrying dozens, sometimes hundreds, of companies, giving you diversification without analyzing everything yourself. Right now, the ETF I'm especially watching is the Alpha ETF, ticker AETF, which has delivered around 46% since the start of the year. I want steady exposure to solid companies while still riding strong performance when it appears. Of course, investing involves risk. Forecasts and past performance are not reliable indicators of future results. Quick heads up, sign-up takes roughly 15 minutes due to strict EU regulations. Worth it in my view. Beyond being a solid investing tool, Freedom 24 gives you a clean feed of official corporate news and market announcements in one place. Check the description for the Freedom 24 welcome offer. And if you join through our link, you directly support this channel and help us keep producing independent geopolitical analysis. In April, in a secure Ankara briefing room, Turkish intelligence stares at a map turning red, not from war, but from alliances. Every Greek military exercise now features partners Turkey once saw as neutral. What's emerging isn't a formal alliance, it's a strategic noose tightening around Turkish ambitions. Israel's been running joint drills with Greece since 2017, but India's entry transforms a regional partnership into a transcontinental alliance. Israel's fallout with Turkey after the 2010 Mavi Marmara raid deepened as Erdogan embraced Hamas. By 2025, Israel sees Turkey as hostile, a NATO member threatening Israeli gas exploration. Every Indian missile system delivered to Greece doubles as a shield for Israeli interests. The United States locked in the 3+1 format: Greece, Cyprus, Israel, plus America. Suda Bay Naval Base in Crete hubs U.S. operations. The Cyclops Counterterrorism Center in Cyprus coordinates intelligence. India isn't a formal member, but its warships dock at Suda Bay. Its officers share intel in Cyclops rooms. In February, Greece, Cyprus, and Egypt signed a joint action plan covering operational training, special forces, and Army aviation cooperation. This strengthens a practical security arc from the Red Sea through Suez into the Eastern Mediterranean, aligning with the maritime leg underpinning IMEC. India, meanwhile, is deepening Mediterranean partnerships, including Cyprus and Egypt, a trend New Delhi increasingly frames within broader connectivity and security goals. France cements the western flank with decades of India partnership and Greece's most reliable European ally status. Rafales, Belhara frigates, diplomatic muscle. France supplies European tech, India brings indigenous systems and economic heft. Greece offers the Eastern Med Gateway. The UAE and Saudi Arabia, IMEC's financial engines, have ramped up military cooperation with Greece. Their calculation: IMEC's survival depends on Eastern Mediterranean stability. Greek and Cypriot strength is now a Gulf investment. From Ankara's perspective, the view is chilling. This isn't a NATO-style alliance with a treaty. It's a dense web of overlapping partnerships, defense pacts, and joint exercises. No one calls it an anti-Turkish coalition, but every move says otherwise. No Article 5, no formal declaration, just silent, strategic encirclement, already redrawing the map. Ankara was not sitting idle. Turkey watched this constellation form, India arming Greece, IMEC bypassing its territory, Israel coordinating with Cyprus, France backing Athens, and struck back, hard. But there was a problem. Turkey was shadowboxing. Turkey had signed an MOU with Iraq and Qatar for the development road, a 1,200-kilometer transport corridor connecting Iraq through Turkish territory to Europe. Erdogan declared any corridor excluding Turkey was destined to fail. Except IMEC wasn't failing. It was being built right then. Meanwhile, the development road remained trapped in PowerPoint presentations. Construction delays, Iraq's political chaos, funding gaps. Turkey had built a counter corridor to a threat that was already operational. That wasn't strategy, that was damage control. On energy, Turkey warned international companies, drill with Cyprus and you're banned from Turkish projects. Cyprus drilled anyway. Block 5 exploration proceeded with American, European, and Indian backing. The threats landed hollow. Cyprus was no longer isolated. It was protected by an alliance Turkey couldn't intimidate. Turkey wasn't setting the agenda anymore. It was reacting to it. Then came the Pakistan pivot. Turkish special forces arrived for Ataturk 13th joint exercises. Erdogan backed Pakistan on Kashmir, a direct challenge to India. Defense Minister Yashar Guler flew to Islamabad, unveiling 30 T-129 ATAC helicopters, Bayraktar drones, a $1.5 billion Milgem Corvette program, F-16 upgrades, and discussions on co-producing Turkey's Kaan fighter. On paper, impressive. In practice, irrelevant, because Pakistan was not Greece. Pakistan sat thousands of kilometers from the eastern Mediterranean. Turkey had armed Pakistan to pressure India. India had armed Greece to checkmate Turkey. One move reshaped the balance of power in Turkey's own backyard, the other didn't. In the Aegean, Turkey kept issuing navtexes. The research vessel Piraeus would conduct surveys. Athens fired back with counter-navtexes and military exercises. Greece's modernization, Rafale fighters, Belhara frigates, BrahMos missiles, F-35s on order, had raised the cost of Turkish coercion. The old playbook no longer intimidated. It just triggered Greek exercises showcasing how much the balance had shifted. Turkey was still issuing threats. Greece was no longer listening. India, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Greece, Cyprus, Israel, and the European Union weren't waiting for Turkey's alternatives. They were building around Turkey. Turkey was striking back, but every strike landed in the wrong theater. Every threat was called. Every alternative arrived too late. The miscalculation wasn't just arming Pakistan. It was believing Turkey still controlled the chessboard. April 2025. The month Turkey chose to deepen its military support for Pakistan against India. The month Ankara believed it could pressure New Delhi by arming its adversary, training Pakistani commandos, backing Islamabad on Kashmir. Turkey miscalculated. India's response didn't come only in Islamabad, it came in Athens, in Nicosia, in the eastern Mediterranean, Turkey's own neighborhood. India didn't just arm Greece and Cyprus. India built an alliance that redrew the map. BrahMos missiles that can strike Turkish naval assets, Tejas fighters, Dhruv helicopters, Akash air defense systems, Pinaka rocket launchers, transforming Greece and Cyprus into a fortress with permanent joint defense production. India built the corridor Turkey cannot stop. IMEC connecting India to Europe through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Greece, and Cyprus, bypassing Turkish territory entirely. India catalyzed the power bloc Turkey cannot break. Israel, France, Egypt, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, the United States, all coordinating with Greece and Cyprus. India didn't join this network. India supercharged it. Turkey tried to strike back, arming Pakistan, provoking Greece in the Aegean, threatening Cyprus over energy. But every countermeasure only confirmed what Ankara feared most. Turkey is no longer shaping events, it is reacting to them. April 2025, the month Turkey thought it could pressure India. The month that will be remembered as the moment India forged the alliance Turkey fears most. Special thanks to Freedom 24 for making this analysis possible. If you're serious about building a great financial future, be sure to check them out in the description below. If this analysis showed you the real power shift in the Eastern Mediterranean, hit subscribe. We connect the dots others miss. And check out the next videos because this story is far from over.